Hi, everyone. I'm Carly.
And I'm Sophia.
And this is Away She Goes, a podcast from her adventures.
Each episode will help you feed your wanderlust with travel tips, stories, inspiration, and more.
Away she goes.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Away She Goes. Today, I'm doing this without Carly because I didn't want her to third wheel because I have a very special guest to me. It's my friend from high school, Jani, who talks to us about traveling with amputation, or more specifically with leg amputation. So, Jani, how are you doing today?
Hi, Sophia. I'm doing good. Thank you that you're taking your time and that we're having this topic today.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us and our listeners. Would you like to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sure. So my name is Jani, and around 2 years ago, I started actually on Instagram with my profile, which called Amputation_amputee 180. So where I try to disrupt the typical, content that you see on Instagram with my content, and specifically the topic osteosarcoma and rotationplasty, which will I talk a bit more later. But basically, I love traveling, and my mom is from the Philippines. And I do remember my first big trip, which was when I was only 5 years old. And I joined my mom to her home country, the Philippines. So since then, I really love traveling. And back to that time, I didn't have the word that we call today wanderlust. So I definitely was sure I wasn't really homesick. So now I can describe it better, that I feel the wanderlust in me.
That is so cool. Can't imagine going to such a really cool place at age 5. That definitely impacts you. But first, let's tell our listeners a bit more about your amputation and what kind of amputation it is.
So regarding my amputation, it happened when I was 9 years old.
Oof.
I had bone cancer, and the type of aggressive bone cancer that I had is called osteosarcoma, which is not only an aggressive one, but also is quite rare. And typically children and young adults, they are confronted with this kind of cancer, and it's basically developing close to your joints. So it can be your arms and also, or maybe your leg. So in my case, it was my leg. And when I realized I had cancer, I was a bit too late, because at the beginning of that, when the cancer developed, we thought it's just growing pains. So this is maybe the dangerous part, having osteosarcoma, because when you're young, you think, okay, the pain, you explain the pain that you're suffering from with this typical growing pains. So maybe your parents and you don't really think about something severe in that situation.
Oh, that sounds scary.
And that's the point where it can be really dangerous, because in my situation, it got found out when it was quite too late. So the cancer that has been developed close to my right knee spread to the upper part and closer to the knee itself. And when the doctor found it out, it was too late. So I got a combination of chemotherapy, and we thought about a leg amputation. And then my parents, they got all the different kind of amputation options. And then my parents decided at the end, okay, we are going with the rotationplasty, because in the long run, this will give me the most independency in my life. So they really tried to think ahead. And Yeah, so what does rotation plasty actually means? Because this is also not only the cancer is rare, and yeah, my amputation is also quite rare. It's not really known worldwide, I would say. It's getting better though. However, so for example, in my case, the cancer was close to the knee, and there was no option for us to continue living with a knee or a knee alternative, specifically, I don't know, with bone transplantation. Could be also an option, but for me, it wasn't. So my parents decided for rotation plasty, which means they take the middle part, they remove the middle part. So you have the upper part left and the foot. And then you take the foot part, you rotate it 100 degrees and reattach it to the upper limb. So basically, I still have a knee, but it's just my foot. My foot replaced my knee. So it sounds weird, but I think it's amazing if you think about it.
It's so cool that that's even medically possible. Just blows my mind.
Right. Like thinking right now, it's also like, it's insane. Like somebody invented that. It's cool. Yeah.
And it's so cool the kind of flexibility and mobility you have with that, because when we knew each other in high school, I had no idea you had a fake leg. Like I heard that you had cancer, but I had no idea that you had the artificial leg and the rotation plasty. I was just like, yep, I haven't seen you in PE class, but
yeah.
But I never drew any conclusions from that. And that's so fascinating.
Yeah, I think also the way you walk is differently when you have a typical limb amputation. To my mind, I don't see myself walking too much, but I would say it's more fluent. And when I tell people afterwards, okay, I have amputation and it's like this and that, and they're like, oh, really? I wasn't aware about that. It doesn't look like that. I'm like, oh, okay, crazy.
Yeah, that's fascinating how people react to that. I wonder, like, you lived in a lot of places. I know that maybe you want to tell our listeners where all over the world you lived, because I was wondering, like, if there's different reactions to that with the different cultures that you lived in.
Yeah, so after we finished our high school time, for me personally, I decided, okay, I need to go abroad to really broaden my horizons. And I think you went to England, right?
Yeah, I went to England.
Yeah, and so for me, I was not sure about England since it's a bit expensive. So okay, I thought, why not go to America? So I've been then to America for 1 year. And looking back, America really gave me the self-confidence I was looking for so long, because people just handle amputation differently than in Europe. They're so used to it, I would say. And yeah, they give me the freedom. They just didn't really care about it. So I was really relieved living in America. It was really nice though, like to experience something else. And it was actually the first time where after the amputation that I was wearing short pants and skirts in public, and I still remember it. Yeah, it was my best friend Miriam. She came over. We had like a road trip, and it was super hot. I remember it was in Monument Valley. Yeah, super hot. And can you imagine, Sophia? I was still wearing, to a point, long pants because I didn't want to show it to the there's not too many people, but I just didn't want to show it. And at one point, I couldn't bear anymore with the weather. So I said, okay, I need to get, I had no short pants, nothing, because I only was wearing long pants. So I made the decision, I need to cut my pants since I couldn't bear anymore with the hot weather. Yeah. And then I had the first time hot pants on.
Yeah. And how did that feel?
Oh my gosh, it feels so like a burden on my shoulder is falling down. I feel so relieved, and it was my inner freedom somehow, because there was the point where I didn't conceal anymore anything. I totally 100% exposed myself, and to that time, the leg was the part of my body which was sensitive to me, to showing to other foreigners, because you never know, there their first reaction. So yeah, it feels really nice. And this was a good feeling.
Oh, that sounds so... I'm so happy for you that you experienced that and that you're so much more comfortable now
Thank you.
Showing every part of you.
Yeah. But then, I moved close after my year in America to China. And you haven't been to Asia yet, right?
No, I haven't, sadly.
Yeah, but you definitely should go. And I was really looking forward to staying in China for also 1 year. And, I only knew China through documentaries and something you see on the internet. And then be there by myself, it was a different experience because I didn't really know what to expect. And I just knew, okay, people are different, mindset is different, culture is different. And also the way they reacting towards me and my disability was also kind of unique, I would say. A bit extreme though, because I'm not sure that they don't have too much experience overall with disability person, I would say. They look extremely to you, and the way they judge you, you can tell by the facial expression.
Oh, that sounds harsh.
Yeah, it was really harsh though. Yeah, saying it right now, it's harsh, but the experience itself was also quite extreme, like quite kind of bad, I would say, because it was too extreme. Like the way they look at you, it's too extreme. And I also had some experience with extreme embolism. So Asia is a place, depending, of course, where you go and so on. But people just react extremely. And it was tough because, after you've been through, after my time in America, where I gained all the self-confidence I wanted for so long. And then you're in China and then you're having the setback, like because people judge you so extreme. So also maybe unpolite, we would say. Yeah, so this was tough. And then afterwards, just 2 years ago, I also lived in Japan. But in Japan, they are much more polite how they handle the situation because they just don't want to lose their face. So it's interesting how people react to my amputation. And now I feel like, okay, I understand the people, because with all this cultural competence, you see the situation, or I see the situation through their eyes. So I can understand the people, how they reacting. So it's fine. But especially China was a kind of tough time, I would say.
That sounds like you had some good and some worse experience traveling as an amputee.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. I think if you're young and you're happy, you can do all these trips, you're going abroad, you're going out of your bubble zone. Definitely it's tough. It's not easy because then you have to consider you're by yourself. Like I was in China, I had friends there, but still you're not close to your family and so on. And you kind of have to deal with the situation by yourself. And but with time and so on, it got better.
That's good to hear. Were there any other things that were impacted on your travels by your amputation? Like, I think I remember seeing a video of you at a bus stop and someone carrying your spare artificial leg.
You remember that video?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, it was this was actually in Japan. It was the last, what was it again? Oh yeah, it was my last day. It was the last day in Japan, and I have to move something. It was my rotation plasty and was too heavy for me. So I had my artificial leg on, and I took with me an additional one because the one I was still wearing in Japan was quite old, but I had some issues with the new one and it was a bit too heavy. So I didn't really like to wear it, and I needed to move it to another place. And then one of the interns, back then we were also good friends, I asked him, can you please take my artificial leg? And so I gave him this plastic bag. So he is, Jani, what's that? I'm like, he knew about my artificial leg. So I said, okay, this is my other artificial leg. It's like, oh, that's so funny. Or we can play like a horror movie on the street right now. It was dark outside. And then two foreigners in, I would say it was a country, like it's not a big city where I've lived, like Tokyo, it's much more outside. So yeah, thinking about this, it was just so funny. We were laughing so loud outside, and he was trying to make like stupid moves with the artificial leg on his shoulder, and we had so much fun. Yeah. So this was when you have friends, this is good to have, because as I said, my artificial leg was so heavy that I could not even wear it because it felt really uncomfortable. And I remember there was another situation when I was in America on the East Coast, and to that time I struggled, or I started to have some pain in my right leg. And you're on your road trip and you don't want to miss all the places that you are planning to go to. And so I didn't know what to do. Should I sit just in the car? What should I do? So I needed to be like really creative and flexible. And I was thinking, okay, when I can't walk, and luckily we only wanted to see places in the city, like it wasn't outside the city. So that's even better. So I decided, okay, I just buy a scooter. Do you know the scooter? Like the ones that you would one foot on the scooter and with the other foot you would try to push forward.
Yeah. I know those very well.
You know we call them city roller.
Yeah, I hate those with a passion. I broke my arm and like chipped off half my tooth with one of those. God. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Nice. So then you just scooted around. Like, I don't know what you
I was in Los Angeles,
Nice.
And I scooted around. And I think if other persons saw me, they're like, oh, what's that for a stupid cool kid? Because, there's a pedestrian zone. And I had nowhere to move. Like I couldn't move normally. So I was really happy I had a scooter. Since then I could just move around, but it looks like I was over cool. I thought I'm an over cool person and I needed the scooter. I couldn't walk.
That's such a cool creative solution. To even just think of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was really happy I came up with this idea. Otherwise, I was probably just sitting in the car waiting for my traveling buddy, which is sad. So,
yeah.
What
were some other great places that you traveled to?
I lived in America for 1 year, and then afterwards China. In China, I saw a lot. I also, with another friend, we have been to a short trip to Hong Kong, and then mostly, I think I saw many places in Asia in general, so Japan, and I went to Korea, then to Singapore, and from Singapore to the Philippines. I've been to the Philippines 3 times, but maybe other people go there much more often when they have a Philippine mom. But the last time was Philippines. And before everything happened with COVID, I went also to Australia. My friend is living right now there.
Oh, so jealous.
Yeah, warm weather.
Yes, essentially.
But I didn't see much. I was just there for 1 week till I got the message that my flight was canceled. And just 1 week in Australia. I didn't see much, but Australia, I feel like it has a lot of influence from America. I feel quite similar. Yeah, I've been to many places. So I'm really happy about this. This was one of the goals because I don't want to look back and say, okay, I'm regretting not moving or traveling around because, being outside of Germany, I learned so much more about myself, and traveling really helped me, at first to gain my self-esteem or self-confidence with a lot of setbacks, but I learned a lot about myself. So it's nice. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Have you had any negative travel experiences?
Negative ones.
Apart from judgy people in China.
Yeah, besides, that's a good one. In America, I think the most strange situation happened when I was in San Jose. It's on the west coast, and it was super hot. And I overcome the point that I can show my leg in public, and I felt quite self-confident. And it was also really warm time. So my traveling buddy and we was like going around the city, and we were just walking, and I saw another pedestrian going to cross my way. And as soon she passed me by, she started screaming. And I remember I had my orange in my hand, and I was so, it's daytime, you didn't expect something extreme going to happen. And then somebody next to you starts screaming. And I was so irritated looking at her, and because she's almost gone. So, and then I realized she was looking to my leg, and for herself, she realized, okay, I'm wearing artificial leg or something like this. I didn't talk with her. I just saw her screaming and looked at her, and I'm like, okay, calm down. What is this? There's no way that you need to express your surprise like that.
No, that's totally unnecessary.
Yeah, totally. I don't even get why she did.
Drama queen.
Yeah, so drama queen. It was just too much. This is not how you should react. I felt, and when you have a disability and somebody's reacting like this, how does this reaction makes you feel? Like it makes you really miserable, right?
Yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah. This was really strange situation. But otherwise in America, I had some really, I experienced so many good situation or people who were crossing my way. So as I said before, it gave me a lot of self-confidence being in America by myself.
Nice. So is that some of the advice you would give to other people, or especially other amputees, to go to America instead of...
I don't know, because probably I could do some other could make some other experience, but just go traveling, maybe Asia, not go there. It shouldn't be on your priority list when you're struggling with yourself, because you have to remember that Asia, they have different kind of beauty standard in a different mindset. So if you don't fit into this beauty standard that they have, then you're just out of the game. I don't know how to say it in a nice way. It's just like they don't see you as a full, complete person, I would say, because there are not too many disability person out there on the streets, especially for Japan. In Japan, I don't know how the situation is right now, and I think it improves by the time. But some people or families with disabilities, they take them to a certain place where they get hidden from the public.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you don't see so many disability person. I can only speak for Japan. But I also have to say I didn't see many in China. I don't know where. And I just recently saw an article. There are around 80 million disability person in China. And I don't know where the people are. Like, I didn't see too many.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely go traveling, go out of your country. Because if you're always staying, we were living on the countryside, and it was good too.
And the world is small on the countryside, really small.
It's super small. Everybody knows everyone, and people judge, and they judge, and they label you certainly, and you need to get out of this bubble zone, I would say.
I like that. I really like that. Okay, so this is a very random question. I hope you don't mind me asking, but what is it like passing airport security with an artificial leg? Because like us able-bodied people, we have to take off our shoes maybe, but do you have to take it off, or like walk me through the process? Tell me all about it.
Okay, this is Sophia. This is a really good question, because this is the point going traveling which annoys me the most, because I have to take it off. But it depends on the airport. I would say in Europe, they're much more easygoing, but outside Europe, they are so strict. I do remember China. When I was traveling within China, I always have to take it off. And so the process looks like this. I'm going to the security section, and I tell them before, okay, I'm having an artificial leg. If your security machine is going to make any noise, before that. And I please want you to inform your colleague on the other side. So then I go through the stuff. Okay, it makes a sound, and they take me to the side. And then they check everything. And then they say, okay, we have to take you to a security room. And then we have to check it over there again. So then I'm going to a separate room. I need to take off my artificial leg. This annoys me the most, because most of the time there are 2 persons, sometimes even 3, only girl or woman. And I don't know why. So for Asia, or in China, I do remember this. This makes me also feel really uncomfortable. They're watching me while I'm taking off. I'm like, okay, you don't need to watch me that detailed. There's nothing specially going on. And then, this little baskets where you put your stuff inside. Yeah. So then they're trying somehow to put this long and clumsy artificial leg into this box and try to hide it with an extra one on the top.
What?
I don't get it. So it looks like a sandwich. So you have the 2 boxes out. And you have the artificial leg in the middle, which you barely is hidden by the boxes. It's so weird. And I don't get the technique.
And I'm guessing like there's like the foot sticking out. So like it's just a artificial leg sandwich with a side of not sweaty foot. Nice. Well done, airport security.
That's security. And then the best thing ever. So they're going out and leave the sentence, don't go anywhere. And I'm thinking, my position, well, I can jump away, but I can't walk away. And if I jump away, I wouldn't be that quick, So I'm like, was this a joke?
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then apparently they take back the leg to the, to the X-ray where they put them through. And I don't want to imagine like people thinking what's going on with a half foot looking out of 2 boxes. Yeah, it's just so funny. And then they bring it back and watching me I'm like a super dangerous person involved in crime, putting on my artificial leg. And then I say, have a good trip. And I move on. But it's a good question that you randomly asked. It's, this experience is the best. Like, it's annoying, but
it sounds annoying.
Yeah. Talking about right now, like the sentence is the best, like, don't walk away. I'm like, seriously, should I laugh at this point?
People astound me every time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Don't know what to say, speechless.
Same. Okay, so now we're almost coming to the end of this episode. Do you have any last advice for our listeners, amputees in general, or anyone at all?
For me personally, which helped me a lot, staying flexible during planning the trip and then being on the trip, like the story with the scooter, when I felt really miserable. Okay, if the pain goes on, like, I can't really visit the places I really wanted to. So thinking minutes later, I just bought a scooter. And being flexible and creative solution helped me to at least don't make any compromise in that case that I couldn't see or be limited to see other places. And just go traveling. Don't wait for someone, I would say, because otherwise you will regret it. Somehow I've been traveling a lot by myself as well. So I got to know a lot of people, and if I needed help or just by taking pictures, I just asked somebody, because I just feel like I don't want to regret anything. Like, there's no reason to feel ashamed about something, because there are also always people around you, even if they're foreigners, they really happy to help.
That sounds great. That's a really good note to end on. Would you like to tell people again where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, of course. I'm on Instagram. My name is rotation_amputee 180. Yeah, and as I said in the beginning, just with my post, I just want to disrupt the typical content there to expose people unconsciously with the topic, because in the beginning, when they see my pictures, they don't really realize what's going on. And if they have questions, they're just asking. I'm happy to answer them. Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you for teaching us all about traveling with a leg amputation.
Thank you also having me on your podcast, on the podcast. Yeah, I was so happy. It was a great talk today.
Yeah, it was definitely very personal and a lot of laughing. I like that.
Yeah, but that's the best. Just laugh together and exchange your experience, and you learn so much about it, each of us.
Yeah, and I hope the listeners had a good laugh too.
Yeah. Thank you, Sophia, so much for today.
Thank you, Jani, for coming on.
That's all for this episode. If you'd like more Away She Goes in your life, make sure to stop by heradventures.com/podcast. That's where you can fill out a form if you're interested in being a guest on the show. And you can also write to us at awayshegosgwt@gmail.com, or leave us a message on our Google voicemail from any phone or computer at 1-563-503-6323. To follow our adventures, you can follow me on Instagram at Carly Sees the World. Carly is spelled Carli.
You can also follow me at Sophia AEZ. Sophia is spelled Sophia. Away She Goes is part of Her Adventures, a community dedicated to radically redefining travel to be inclusive, sustainable, and empowering. You can learn more about Her Adventures, find travel tips and support, shop travel-themed items made by our members, and join our Facebook group with nearly 100,000 women all around the world. All at heradventures.com. We can't wait to connect and explore with you. Away she goes.